Detective Wardle.
Decided to indulge your whims?
I'm also building a theory about the widow's jewelry case.
At the same time?
Why not? It helps me concentrate on the case and keeps my mind focused.
I got up early this morning at 6 o'clock.
Why?
I had a bad dream. Also, I went to bed too late, around 11.
Because of this jewelry case?
Yes. I was busy with all the information related to the suspect's alibis. When I got up today, I found it hard to concentrate even on making myself a cup of coffee. I wonder what it would be like if I were supposed to do two things at the same time this morning.
Now it's nearly 10:30. Do you still feel exhausted?
I've had 3 cups of coffee. In an hour or so, I'll be okay.
3 cups of coffee? Wow! I remember when I was working on several cases, it was such a difficult time for me. One of the cases was a murder. I was so exhausted, didn't sleep well. In fact, I slept for an hour or so. I went to bed at 4 in the morning, and an hour later, I was awake. A phone call from the police woke me up, and an hour later, I was already at a murder scene. It was in December. The weather was bad. I waited for a taxi for ages. Can you imagine? I also had several cups of coffee. In the short term, it helped. But afterward, I was exhausted. I got home at 10:30, and the only thought in my mind was to fall asleep. So what did you find out about the suspects?
In fact, a lot.
Really? Very interesting. I also have some information to discuss, but let's see firstly what you have.
Margaret, the widow, contacted us on Friday, the 20th of November. She said that she found out about the missing jewelry.
That's right.
From what she told us, we know that she had the jewelry on November 17th. Right?
Yes, she told us about that.
The jewelry was stolen on the 18th of November or between the 17th and 18th of November.
Yes, she called the police on November 18th.
We have 3 suspects who could possibly have climbed up that old fire escape: Joseph, Brian, and Kevin. Joseph couldn't have done that.
Why?
He wasn't in the country at that time.
Reasonable.
It seems that Brian also has an alibi.
What kind of alibi?
Last month he changed jobs, and his working hours seem to be the same as the time when the jewelry was possibly stolen.
Okay, what about the nephew?
That's more interesting. It seems that he could have worked at the time of the stealing, but his office is not far from the widow's home. And he has a car. In 10 minutes or so, he could be at the place.
Very interesting.
Indeed. Another thing is about the widow.
What about her?
Every Tuesday at 9:30, the widow visits a beauty salon.
Is that the day she called the police?
Exactly. But this time she didn't visit it.
Well, that's fine, I think. She found out about the missing jewelry, right?
Yes, but she called the salon at 9 and canceled her reservation.
And she called the police after a while?
Exactly.
Yes, that's strange. If you find out about missing jewelry, you don't wait long before calling the police. It looks like it was planned in advance. If I had missing jewelry, I would call the police and maybe call to cancel the reservation. But the time wouldn't be much different.
But she called the police almost 2 hours later at 11:30.
Very strange. You know, I'm getting more convinced in my theory.
What theory?
You know when you have small pieces of a puzzle, and you try to put them in place, but nothing seems to work. And after some time, you have an idea, and you try it from different sides. And it works.
Go on.
Remember when we visited the widow's home? We had a look at that fire escape?
Sure.
This fire escape is very old and rusty. If you put your hand on it and try to climb it, you leave traces. Right?
Yes. And what did you find?
There were no traces. Not a tiny little trace of someone climbing that fire escape. Another thing is the widow's past.
That's interesting.
Her husband was a very rich man. The widow's nephew is also rich. The widow's husband left him a part of his business.
And what about the widow?
Well, before his death, they didn't have much a relationship. She betrayed him with their acquaintance.
So there's something in the will.
There is. The husband left this jewelry in his will, but she can't sell it. I found out that she insured it for a very large sum. And she desperately needs money.
So she's unhappy with the will, and she hates her nephew.
That's right.
She wanted us to find something on the nephew. Nephew, by her plan, will be in jail, and she'll be in possession of both the jewelry and a big paycheck from the insurance company.
Yes.
But we don't have enough to prove that.
She has the motive, and she has the jewelry. To prove that theory, we need to visit her home.
And talk to her?
No, that's what I wouldn't do. We should look for the jewelry somewhere near the house. She didn't have much time to hide it considering what other mistakes were made by her. I think the jewelry is somewhere underground.
Let's find them. Look at this. This lawn looks different. It seems there's something under it.
Let's dig.